Hi, I'm Dr. Colleen Andrus, and I'm a board certified internal medicine physician, also board certified in the field of obesity medicine. I am also a coach in the Get Fit 21 program. So, how are we valuable? We are valuable if we have knowledge, because if we have knowledge, we can teach. So, today I would like to teach you about a very important principle that we utilize in the Get Fit 21 program. So whether you are another coach or whether you're a challenger using this video as an educational tool, my hope is that you will understand the principles behind the 4-4-12 system, because it's all about fat burning. So in order to do this, I must talk about the metabolic cells of our body. Inside every single metabolic cell, we have a chemical reaction that occurs that produces energy or metabolism or fat burning. And for simplistic sakes, that chemical equation is basically nutrient plus oxygen plus water equals energy. So the nutrients are 100% critical for metabolism or for energy or fat burning. So what are those nutrients? Those nutrients are our proteins, our carbohydrates, and our fats. So when we eat protein, protein gets digested and broken down into amino acids. That process of digestion from protein into an amino acid is quite intense. It utilizes a lot of calories, it utilizes a lot of our water to help that digestive process. But once it becomes an amino acid, it actually can enter that cellular reaction quite readily and is a great energy source. Carbohydrates, on the other hand, are very, very different. Every single carbohydrate out there, whether it's the good, the bad, or the ugly, becomes some form of sugar. And the only way that our sugar can become part of that chemical reaction and be used as a source of fuel is if that sugar enters the cell. And the only way sugars can enter that cell, that metabolic cell, is if insulin is in place. Insulin has to attach to the outside of that cell. And when it attaches to what we call a receptor site, a little channel or gate opens up. And it's through that gate that that sugar enters in. And it becomes part of that chemical reaction, and we produce energy. There are some sugars that are recognized more readily. Those are the natural sugars. That's our fruits and vegetables. So we do get insulin production when we eat fruits and vegetables, but because our body recognizes those very quickly, our insulin levels drop quite rapidly. But when we eat other types of carbohydrates, they become processed sugars, and all those processed sugars make it very, very difficult for our body to recognize, and therefore those levels of sugar are higher longer. The way our body compensates for that, it recognizes that those sugars are higher and that they're there much longer, and therefore our body will start to pump out higher levels of insulin. So the food system out there, the processed sugars, have created higher baseline levels of insulin in our body. Now, what you have to know about insulin is, yes, insulin is a lifesaver. We must have it. If we don't have insulin, we have type 1 diabetes, because no insulin is going to attach to that cell and no channels are going to open. But we also know now from studies that if our body pumps out higher levels of insulin, that we stop burning fat. And we also promote more fat in our belly region when our insulin levels go up. So it only goes to reason that we want to keep those insulin levels as low as possible. So how do you do that? We do that by eating 3 meals a day and no snacks. Because when you eat 6 times a day, or when you're grazing, or when you're snacking, our body is constantly pumping out insulin. And if you're providing your body with that fuel all day long, our body never has to use our storage fat. Well, where do we store fat? We store it in our bellies. So the 4-4-12 system really reiterates the concept of eating 3 meals a day and no snacks. We want a good solid breakfast. We want to eat enough nutrients to get that metabolic cycle going. We want to get that metabolism revved up. But our fat burning starts about 4 hours after we've eaten. Now, if you go longer than 6 hours, our body starts to go into a starvation mode where we start to lose muscle mass and store fat. So you don't want to go much longer than 6. But if our fat burning zone is between 4 and 6 hours, it only goes to reason we want to be in that zone as long as possible and as often as possible, right? So 3 meals, 4 to 6 hours later, we eat our second meal. 4 to 6 hours later, we eat our third meal. And then we want 10 to 12 hours through the night because we do burn fat while we sleep. So the 4-4-12 system, 3 meals a day, no snacks. Now, you might get a little hungry at 5, 5.5, even 6 hours. But if you're hungry, what that means is you're probably burning fat. So 3 meals a day, no snacks. 4-4-12 system equals fat burning. It's okay to be hungry.